Welcome back to the Festival of the Artisan. Don't let my seated, laid-back presenting style this evening fool you. It's Saturday night. Come on, yeah. Yes, indeed, and we're bringing it to you live from beautiful downtown Ashby-de-la-Zouch and the Venture Theatre. Yes, indeed. And we're going to, I'm just going to run through what we've got on tonight. We've got Elaine Davidson coming up shortly. We've got The Long Road. We've got Blair Dunlop to finish the evening off. If you haven't seen last night's show and this afternoon, you can watch all that stuff on catch up, but don't do it now because we're live now, you know. Just set aside a little bit of time in your busy schedule for that. And you can go on to festivaloftheartisan.co.uk, Facebook, YouTube, it's everywhere. And you can support us by going to festivaloftheartisan.co.uk/box office. If you want to sort of pay what you can, you know, buy us a coffee, just show your support for the fact we're trying to keep live music out there and get things moving again. And many thanks, of course, to our sponsors for that. Arts Council England, our main sponsor, the Sausage Man, of course, with his sausages and his veggie bundles. Yes, and bringing the festival experience home. Hobgoblin Music, Derventio Wines, Delilah's Fine Foods, and Buffalo Brownies. Yes, we've got a delectable list of sponsors. So without further ado, we're going to get the Saturday night off in fine fashion with Elaine Davidson and Nick Jenkins. Thank you very much.
Right, so
I'm just going to have to interrupt you there.
right, okay.
Brief technical issues. So
Oh dear.
bear with you. Ask for your patience for a few moments, and we'll be right back with you. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. We got so excited we had technical issues. But I give you once again, Elaine and Nick.
Oh. Right, so I'd like to welcome everyone to this lovely little theatre. I wish you could all be here, but anyway, we can reach you in your homes, which is very lovely to have a gig here, and lovely to have these people taking care of the technical issues rather than us, thank God. Yes. I've done gigs in my living room where I was the only person there, so there was nobody standing behind me saying I can take care of that technical issue, which is scary as anything. So, right, okay, so we're going to take you, that was Can't Wait to See You Tonight, which was on an album called Can't Tell a River, and we recorded that in California, so this was one of the songs that came from that session. We were in this gorgeous place called Laurel Canyon, which was where all the hippie music came from, where Joni Mitchell lived and God knows who else. So anyway, this is our rocking California song. You can have a drink and you can dance if you want to. 1, 2, 3, 4. Talking as if I were leaving, talking a good talk, matter of fact, yeah, but it's only my heart I'm deceiving. It's still California, I'm dreaming. Soft moonlight's just a peach. What could be better? Better than this, yeah, but it's only my heart I'm deceiving. It's still California. Bare feet and bareback riding. She's always smiling. Rockin' California song. God, that actually sounds like an audience. It's an audience. Not seen one of them in a long time. Right, so the next song we're going to play is Can't Tell a River, which came from a group in Cumbria called the West Cumbria Rivers Trust, who, after the flooding, they realised that the farming industry putting the river straight in the 50s maybe wasn't that great an idea, so they decided to put it back to meander, and all sorts of lovely things came from that, so including this song, I think. It's called Can't Tell a River.
Look out on the world tonight, sailing on away. See her starry firmament, see her starry train. Guiding star, can tell the river which way to flow, and you can tell a flower how to grow, can tell the wind which way to blow, and can tell a snowflake how to be snow. Precious pearl of blue and white in her shawl of peace, bathing in the northern lights, wonders never cease. Guiding star, can tell the river which way to flow, and can tell a flower how to grow, can tell the wind which way to blow, and you can tell a snowflake how to be snow. Maybe I'll fall in love with you. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll fall in love with you. Maybe I won't. Can tell the river which way to flow, and you can tell a flower how to grow, can tell the wind which way to blow, and you can tell a snowflake how to be snow. You can tell the river which way to flow, and you can tell a flower how to grow, can tell the wind which way to blow, and you can tell a snowflake how to be snow.
Thank you, thank you. Right, this next song's another one off that album. This is called Sword and Shield.
rivers run and there are no words to make you understand. When the river sang with rain, washed me off my feet again. When the sky was heavy as my heart. Easy picking, easy prey, there is no honor in this way. There are no words to make you understand. Grow roots like a great oak tree, grow wings like a bird I'll be. Take flight over land and sea, and truth set me free. Give me my sword, give me my shield, take my place on the battlefield. Kicking up dirt on a tall white steed, truth will set me free. Kicking up dirt on a tall white steed, and truth will set me free. Hallowed halls where we belong, up on the mountain in the bay. Grow roots like a great oak tree, grow wings like a bird I'll be. Take flight over land and sea, truth will set me free. Give me my sword, give me my shield, take my place on the battlefield. Kicking up dirt on a tall white set me free. Kicking up dirt on a tall white steed. White the lily grows, red, red the bonny rowan tree. Red, red the rambling rose, white, white the lily grows, red, red the bonny rowan tree. And red, red the bonny rowan tree. Oh, this is such good fun. I forgot how much fun this was. You can go and get a drink now from the bar if you want to. It's going to be so nice when we get to play festivals again. But it's nice to think this is going out all, you know, every cloud has a silver lining, doesn't it? Like now, it's actually going out to people all over the world, which is very, very nice. So. This is a song about doing the impossible, doing what you love. It's Shooting for the Moon is apparently a card game, where if you get all the ace hearts, a hearts card game, game of hearts, is it? Right, okay. And if you get the whole hand, it's called Shooting for the Moon. Yeah. And apparently you always go for the Shooting for the Moon. What you used to when you were brave. Right. Shooting for the Moon. You feather-capped butterfly, wearing the starry eyes. You wayfaring souls. stars. Let's do the galaxies. Let's be the dreamers of dreams. Let's skip bail, get out of jail, feel like we cannot fail in this game of house. And let's go shoot for the moon. Now we're heading for home. Once you lay down your arrow, son, lay down your totem gun. It is time that you know you're the garden, you're the grower, you're the seed, you're the sower. Swing high, swing low, and let's do the stars. Let's do the galaxies. Let's be the dreamers of dreams. Let's skip bail, get out of jail, feel like we cannot fail in this game of house. When the night comes, let's go shoot for the moon. When the night comes, let's go shoot for the moon.
So go and do that. Let's shoot for the moon. Right. And this next song, this is on our last album, which was called Nothing But Love, which is, in fact, it was the launch of that was the last gig that we played. We did it in this little wee church in Cumbria, Ria, November. Anyway, this is another song from that album, and it's called I Fell in Love with You, which is basically self-explanatory.
I fell in love with you. Sky turned a deep blue. You colored me rainbow hue, and I fell in love with you. I hurt myself say your name over and over again. I'm never gonna be the same since I fell in love with you. Maybe I should have seen this coming. Maybe I should have heard my heart's humming. Maybe I should have known that I'd fall in love with you. feels like you take me where life is an easy jam. Angels gathered there, and I fell in love with you. I never intended to, it was nothing I meant to do, but you made it easy to fall in love with you. Maybe I should have seen this coming. Maybe I should have heard my heart humming. Maybe I should have known that I'd fall in love with you. Maybe I should have seen this coming. Maybe I should have heard my heart humming. Maybe I should have known that I'd fall in love with you. Smitten kitten, really, isn't it? Anyway, right. Do you want to do your Scottish hair now? Or should
Are you picking up on these trouble with the fiddle going on here? Or is it sounding okay? It's sounding fine. Wonderful.
So Nick's going to now play, what is it called? Callum.
Scare, it's called. So this is a Scottish air. I don't actually know much about it. I know it's traditional. It was possibly a song, actually, although it sounds a bit too rambling to have been a song. But I learnt it from the playing of Alistair Fraser. Anyway, so here it goes.
looking marvellous. Right, we're going to play a song. It's a place in Cumbria, a little village called Callbeck, and a place called the How, where the river goes through, and it's got a geological structure that they call the Fairy Kirk. I don't know why that is, anyway, but it's got a Dingley Dell kind of feel about it. Can I just tune my guitar? It's kind of one of those places in Cumbria, the sort of places you shouldn't tell people where they are because the tourists don't know. But it's very nice. Won't be a tick. Are you enjoying playing, Mr. Jenkins? Glory Rings. So this is a song about fairies and stuff like that. Glory Wings.
Take heart, the river runs so deep. She'll laugh and sing and dance. She'll wash your fairy feet. Clear shining silver stream. She'll make you smile. Unfurl your fairy wings and fly. Hush, hush, hear the world go by. Don't pay her any heed, don't pay her any mind. Take to the grass and dream, take to the sky. Unfurl your fairy wings and fly. Hail the new day dawning, hail the newborn light, hail the clear bright morning, hail the one who shines, hail the sunbeam swarming, hail the crimson sky. Unfurl your glory wings and fly. Take heart, the silver moon is full. Here with these standing stones, her light ethereal. Here with these standing stones, here with the wise. Unfurl your fairy wings and fly. And hail the new day dawning, hail the newborn light, hail the clear bright morning, hail the one who shines, hail the sunbeam swarming, hail the crimson sky. Unfurl your glory wings and fly. Unfurl your glory wings and fly.
Fairy songs. This song's called Give Me a Sign, and it came from, we were sitting around a table after the festival at IB Festival. I'm going to plug IB Festival because it's our wee local festival, hopefully once it gets going again. will be the marvel that it always was. And it was one time after the festival, and we're sitting down with these guys at the Paper Boys, Jeff that plays, I don't know if you know the band, the Paper Boys, Canadian band, but they're absolutely excellent. Jeff plays flute. And we were talking about he was gone to buy a new house, and it was like the universe sometimes gives you signs that you're on the right track or on the right direction kind of thing. And this was that kind of, we were discussing that all the way down, haven't we? Which things have. So it's called Give Me a Sign, with if you synchronicity and things like that. And this will be on the next album. Give me a sign. Give me a northern star that's true. Call me to say you'll be there soon. Give us a night and a lazy moon. Give me a morning bird that sings. Give me the high of an angel's wings. Give us the day and all that she brings, and give me a sign. Give me a sign. Give me a sign with my family name. Place it right there at the garden gate. Give me a neighbor that I hold dear. Give us a water well run clear, and give me a sign. Give me a sign. Give me a friend with a healing cure. Give us an open road to two. And give me a hand of which I'm sure. Village green and an old horse cart. Give me the lands where I know my part. A clean slate and a brand new start. Give me a sign. And give me a sign. Give me a sign. Thank you. Well, we're cracking on. Now we're going to dare to play Love is the Law, or we'll play Alone at Last. I wrote a new song on Sunday, and we were going to play it, but I'm not sure. But it'll be kicking around soon, hopefully. Right, I think this might be our last. Is it? Yeah. I imagine lots of people have been in this position. I wrote this song before all of this was going on, but it's called Alone at Last, and it seems pretty apt with all this stuff going on. How people have ended up being on their own, including me. But we're all right, we're coming out of it. Anyway, it's called Alone at Last. And this was on the last one, wasn't it? It was on Nothing But Love. Yeah. Right, so thanks everybody that's tuned in. I hope you've enjoyed it, and there's the rest of the show to go. And hope to see you all soon out in the green fields and with a glass of cider in your hand and stuff, like, as you do. So this is Alone at Last. Thanks for being a wonderful audience. Woohoo! You are a lightning bolt. You are a cleansing salt. You are a hidden vault, alone and last. You are the sky turned blue. You are the river true. You made the world like new, alone and last. You are a field of bliss. You are a fervent kiss. You are the one you miss, alone and last. You are a standing wave. You are an engine brave. You are the love you crave, alone and last. And you are a wandering one. You are a wayward son. You are the light turned on, alone and last. You are a landing place. You are a saving grace. You are the winning ace, alone and last. You are a lightning bolt. You are a cleansing salt. You are a hidden vault, alone at last. Thank you. Thank you.
Elaine and Nick, everybody, thank you. Wonderful. Okay, right, we've got Blair Dunlop headlining later, don't forget. Next up is an outfit called The Long Road. I might sit in with them. And we're going to be back in around about 25 minutes or so. In the meantime, we want you to enjoy a special episode of our Artisan music show, and this time featuring Mark Mandeville and Rayanne Richards. So we'll be back real soon.
in North Carolina. Now, Rob's not just a great musician and a lovely human being, he's also a bit of a godfather to a number of musicians, not just a little old me and my helping me tour and play in America, but also to others. And in particular, one of the acts that he was really keen and talked a lot about was Mark Mandeville and Rayanne Richards, who've been staying with him on their annual tours for over 9 years. So given his enthusiasm, we thought we'd make contact and see what they've got to say and what they sound like. And boy, they are really, really good. One of my first questions was, how has their music evolved over the last few years?
I think in that time, our writing has gone from being really sort of ambiguously written and enigmatic, sort of based on feelings and based on themes, and slowly it's sort of, we're starting to write more about things with a pointed purpose. I think our new album that came out this year called Road May Rise has 2 instances where, you know, Ryan and I were asked to write songs for a particular reason. And then, you know, as songwriters, we sort of delve into that. You know, we have a lot of friends who do that. As a matter of fact, you know, they write sort of, what do you call it, topical songs, you know, things about stuff. And I've always been sort of, as a writer, more interested in writing from a perspective that might last, meaning not including too many things that may become dated. You know, try to writing it in a way where the feeling and the sentiment might persevere longer than mentioning like a town name or a state name in the song, or writing about something so particular that it might not even be relevant the next year.
I mean, you've got a really interesting instrumentation. Rihanna, are you the multi-instrumentalist?
Yeah, both of us are multi-instrumentalists, but in our duo, I really am the one who kind of wears all the hats. Like, I play penny whistle, I play clarinet, I play electric bass, I play ukulele, I play a little bit of guitar. We both sing, and as Mark said, we both are writers. So, you know, the role of like kind of who is singing lead may change from song to song. Mm-hmm. And then Mark also in our group plays harmonica, guitar, and mandolin. But he's also a really good banjo player and an excellent bass player. And so we're like, it's sort of like each song, you know, what sounds good for this song. And when we're starting to work out music, you know, for something new, we might kind of just lay everything out and try out different things until we find like the right, what speaks to us and what kind of sounds the best for that particular song. And then over the years, sometimes it'll change. Like, you know, if you do a lot of live performing, you want to keep things fresh, especially for yourself. Like, I think like Bob Dylan was very guilty of this, right? Like he just would get bored, so he'd start singing his songs like with totally different feels and things like that. We're not to that extreme, but I sort of understand, you know, why he would do that, because it needs to be fresh for you as well as your audience. And sometimes just changing and doing a different instrument on that song than what you've done for the last few years can make a big difference.
I do love the different textures you managed to conjure up, and I can guess you can refresh it that way. I mean, to ask you a terrible question, if I ask you the what do you sound like sort of question, what might they expect? Where would, without putting yourself in a label or a box, if you like this, you might like us?
Yeah, I mean, last night we had a friend over and we were listening to an early James Taylor album, one that has like Sweet Baby James and Fire and Rain on it. And you listen to some of those, and these are songs that, you know, when I was learning how to play guitar, I was sort of steeped in Bob Dylan and Neil Young and Cat Stevens. And as for the writing, maybe not so much similarities, but the arrangements is what sticks out to me, because on that James Taylor album, the Sweet Baby James song is guitar and electric bass. And that's, I think it's songs like that make me want to always use electric bass in our songs. We never have a drummer for the most part. We've steered away from percussion, but we have a lot of texture in our music, and then we also play with a pedal steel player who also plays dobro. We have piano and upright bass and strings oftentimes, and then all of the woodwind sounds that Rayanne can supply with the clarinet. And so you're thinking of like bands like Kate Wolf's band,
Yeah.
the band that plays with Neil Young, Joni Mitchell when she had a band. You have a lot of singer-songwriters who had bands, and sometimes those aren't the most in the really, I don't want to use a term that might sound negative, but they're really staunch, folk fans that just want you to have like the dude or the girl with the acoustic guitar, and that's all they have.
Yeah.
That's
not us.
Like even there's this song about moving water from someplace. I can never remember the title of it, but it was an early recording by the Weavers, where they had the London Symphony Orchestra, I think, in the background of the song. But for some reason, the way the mics were placed, the only things you can really hear in the recording are a clarinet and a banjo. And to me, when I hear those sounds, that's really appealing to me.
That's really interesting.
Not so much like the new sounds that are being made, which are basically old sounds again. That's sort of, I'm really apprehensive about moving forward with recordings that sound too much like something else. So that's a danger, I guess, is like not wanting to sound like, Motown from that period, or sound like soul music, or sound like folk singers from the 70s, or the country performers. It almost seems too easy to just, let's treat the song, in an audio studio setting, let's treat it like that.
When you write, do you write together or do you write a song each?
So lyrically, it's usually he's written the lyrics or I've written the lyrics. We don't really normally collaborate on the lyrical content, but the music is always composed together. One of us may have kind of bare bones of a song, like just the chord progression or something, and then like I'll bring it to Mark or he'll bring it to me, and then we kind of flesh it out and maybe add more parts, like maybe we should put a bridge, or let's do this differently on the chorus, so that the music part of it is very collaborative. Right. But usually the lyrics are just kind of like we're both basically poets, right? So we're always thinking about things and jotting them down, and hopefully at some point it comes together. And we also kind of write at different speeds. Like Mark has periods where he's really prolific and he'll write like 10 songs in 10 months. Right. And I might write one in that time. I'm more of like a stone polisher. I got to really think about it for a long time, and then it'll come out. And oftentimes too, for me, it's just kind of like an all at once. Like I get everything together. Where for Mark, sometimes he'll have just a verse for a while and then have to add to it later.
Yeah, and the danger in working with all these textures, or maybe not a danger, but it's like that our studio albums have some stuff on them, and hopefully that stuff, meaning the pedal steel and the piano and all the different sounds, don't take away from the fact that when we tour nationally, it's usually just the two of us. Yeah. So, we put out an album a couple of years ago from a house concert tour we did in Canada, where it was just, we had a sound engineer come with us and record us playing at a variety of people's homes, and we put that out as an album, and our fans really enjoyed it because it was just her and I. So ultimately, if the song can stand alone as just us playing it, then we feel that that's a really good song. And then it's fun for us to include all those other textures and have a variety of ways we can play it. And I think that also makes our fans pretty happy. It makes us happy, and like what Rayanne was saying before about we don't get bored, we stay creatively attached to the process. We're also not afraid of it changing over time, like songs completely doing things differently, which is much to the chagrin of some of the dudes that we play with, because they're in their mid-60s, and when we change something that they've been working on for the last 5 years, it takes a lot for it to sink in that we've made that change. I'll tell you that.
We must hear something. So what would you have for us here?
This is the first song we can play that's off of our new album, Road May Rise. It's one that's getting some airplay around, and it's one that's hit some people kind of well. Like even early on, the very first and last concert that we played before this whole thing went down in January of this year, there was a man who came up to us after we performed and it was the first song we played in the set. And he remembered it through the whole entire set and came up to us and said, that's something that we really need to talk about. And it affected him in such an interesting way, because there's another part of being a songwriter that I'm really particular about, is not telling somebody what the song is about. because it can be, you know, we want it to be what it needs to be for the listener. And that's something like, you know, who are we to tell everybody, yeah, this song is about this and it's about my life and blah, 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 blah. Why not let it be what it is for them?
Some of these songs have, like, they'll have relevance to current events. Even though we wrote it a couple years ago, we could never have seen, like, a global pandemic coming. But it definitely, like, has a little bit more reverence with the current events. And we've had several songs like that over the years where it's like, we can still play them 10 years later, and it still is like, wow, you know, whatever theme we're commenting on, it's still happening. It's still, that lesson still needs to be learned.
So this is called There Will Come a Day. There will come a day we won't have to worry anymore, and I fear that day is coming, and we won't be ready for it. There will come a time when no amount of metal in a man, when no degree level in this land will keep him steady. And there will come a day, there will be a time in a place you least expected and you never thought you'd find. There will come a day, there will be a time, a graceful frozen moment for no reason and no rhyme. There will come a day, there will be a time. Well, be that as it may, not for lack of signals or signs, all the ancient meditations, old-time religion or science, man will find a way to build a better palace out of sand, until another casts a shadow down to render dark and different plans. There will come a day, there will be a time in a place you least expected and you never thought you'd find. There will come a day, there will be a time, a graceful frozen moment for no reason and no rhyme. There will come a day, there will be a time. There will come a day, you just let the cards lay where they land, a bad beat folded in your hand, you go out empty. And there will come a time where the means won't mean an end, a step towards the start to warmer climes and much brighter days ahead. There will come a day, there will be a time in a place you least expected and you never thought you'd find. There will come a day, there will be a time, a graceful frozen moment for no reason and no rhyme. There will come a day, there will be a time.
asked this question of 2 or 3 people so far, and it's always given a nice answer. So, from where you are now, what gives you hope?
We work with a lot of kids, I tell you, that helps me. Because when we're not on the road, and this has really been sort of a great advantage for us during this whole time, is that we teach music. So we've been through this whole thing, been able to do virtual lessons, and we're young enough to be pretty savvy with the internet still, and be able to adapt with all these new means of communicating with people. Seeing those families that we work with and talking to these kids who are very much, their lives are upside down just like our lives are upside down, and hearing their feedback, I'd much rather hear the thoughts of a 14-year-old or an 8-year-old and how they're dealing with these things than sometimes I'd like to hear from an adult with like some formed, steady opinions.
Right.
So their hopefulness has sort of helped me be okay with what's going on and know that it's going to be okay. And I know that might sound like a cliche sentiment.
No, not at all.
They're our future, type of thing. I mean, they're in our future. We're all in this sort of together, whether we'd like to think about it or not. I don't want to fall into the, I've definitely talked to some concert promoters for folk music in particular, that they just feel like it is over.
Yeah.
It is done, and it's never coming back. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe not your version of it, but the actual reasoning behind folk music and the reasoning behind what it does, building communities, and speaking to and helping people communicate thoughts that are harder than what can just be handled in dialogue alone. That's sort of what the whole point of poetry is to begin with. I think that's what we're going to see a resurgence of. It's going to be a real authentic second or third folk revival, where what we're doing should be maybe only for 25 people at a time, and not for filling seats and not for ticket prices. We should be okay with that, which is basically, I mean, we said this to an audience yesterday. We played to about 20 people in a huge barn with both doors open in Woodstock, Connecticut yesterday. And those 20 people really appreciated the fact that we played a concert. You know, and they got a lot out of it. And it's basically like what we were doing when we play house concerts. So now every concert's a house concert.
House concert.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of gives me hope too. Like, so we've had very few opportunities to have any live performances where we're playing somewhere where there's a real live audience there. And Mark and I, for years, have kind of been slowly transitioning away from like the traditional venues and more to community spaces like museums and historic lands and barns, and we've even done concerts like in the woods on our walking tour. So we're really open to working with places and with people who maybe don't even normally do concerts, and just kind of seeing how that goes. And we had already like kind of resigned ourselves to like, we're gonna just transition to as much of that as possible this year as we can. And then, you know, everything started getting really bad in the spring, and it was like, okay, no live shows for a while. Let's move our tour and hope for the best, right? And then this fall, the places that offered us live performances were those very places, were community oriented, non-traditional performance venues. They are what has sustained us. They are the ones that keep coming out of the woodwork to ask, how can we help you? How can we get you in front of an audience and give you a space to do what you love to do? It's not, you know, the big music venues.
It's so lovely to hear you say that, Ryan, because I have a huge sense that that's happening here too. All sorts of people are talking, having conversations with people I didn't used to have conversations with, and it's almost like a parallel universe opening up.
It's good that the community is trying to nurture itself and trying to take care of each other. That's exactly what should happen when you have such a traumatic event that literally the entire world is experiencing together. Like, I can't think of anything in my lifetime, and I don't know about yours, but I can't think of anything where we've all been touched by this, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. You know, it's not just in the music community either. We've seen a lot of outreach, like for, 'cause like a lot of the elderly people that live here are very isolated right now. And people are just like figuring it out. You know, they do a drive-by in cars on their birthday and they make signs and they wave. They have things where they can be outdoors and kind of be far apart. Like, they haven't just said, well, I can't visit my mother or my grandmother and just kind of resign themselves to that. They've figured out a way, even if they can't touch each other, where they can see their faces. And, you know, that's the kind of thing that we need to be doing.
Yeah, that's lovely. I think we should hear another song. What you got up your sleeve here?
We're going to do this song that I actually co-wrote with someone that we met on our tour up in Manitoba. And it's sort of an unrequited love song. She sent me the idea, I think, because it was a little too close to home for her, like a little too fresh and too painful maybe for her to write. But she said, this is a great idea and I just can't write it right now, and I'm giving you the idea. And she was right. It was a great idea for a song. So it's called Honeybee.
Need you in my life.
Rayanne and Mark, thank you very much. It's been an absolute joy to listen to you. And somewhere down the road, I hope our paths intersect.
Yeah, sounds great.
Welcome back to the Festival of the Artisan. Yes, here in sun-kissed Aspre de la Rouche at the Venture Theatre. And don't forget, we've got Blair Dunlop closing the festival in not too long. And to support us, don't forget, go to festivaloftheartisan.co.uk/box office, pay what you feel, buy us a coffee, buy us a Twix if you want. And big thank you to all our sponsors and supporters, especially the Sausage Man. And you may have noticed, the eagle-eyed amongst you, I'm wearing a hat, which can only mean one thing. I am joined by two other gentlemen, also in a millinery fashion. Yes. So collectively, with our hats and guitars and various assorted instruments, we are the Long Road. And we're going to start off with a song for you that Steve, in the middle there, wrote. And it's a song that he wrote about his relationship with Elvis. They didn't know each other well. It's called Midnight Radio.
The night the king died and the beat played on, the world had turned, my innocence was gone. I slipped away from the kiss of her warm bears. I moved my car to the beat inside my head. Hadn't meant that much to me, but the DJ really cried. To a backstreet boy from a Midland town, something should have died. But the cat looked down as the song played on the midnight radio. You can rock, but you cannot roll. You can rock, but you cannot roll. So opened up, road to kingdom come, for a crazy clown, so thin and kinda dumb. Was I running from, or was I running to? To tell the truth, I guess I never knew. But a three-card trick and a broken chord gave me something to believe. Played a minor riff on the sending line, I might be received. And the cat looked down as the song played on the midnight radio. You can rock, but you cannot roll. You can rock, but you cannot roll. I found my way, Nashville, Tennessee. Stopped changing colours like the Judas tree. My boots and brains walking down the street. A sort of home, a place to rest my feet. And I'm still playing in the King, makes more sense right now. Keep all things beside me, singing on somehow. And the cat looked down as the song played on the midnight radio. You can rock, but you cannot roll. You can rock, but you cannot roll. You can rock, you can rock, you can rock, but you cannot roll. You can rock, 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 but you cannot roll. You can rock, but you cannot roll. You can rock, but you cannot roll. Hey, we made it, we made it through to the other side of the weekend, gentlemen. It's quite extraordinary. Anyway, here we are in La La Land, as far as I know. I've been stuck in actually beautiful theatre for a couple of days now, and big thank you to the lovely people at the Venture Theatre for letting us do this here. But here we go. We are the Long Road, and our songs are of the road and of the meetings and the people and the adventures and the total bleeding accidents that happen along the way. And this total bleeding accident of a song is my unexpected arrival in a ghost town called Loma Parada in New Mexico. A town that had once been a fount of evil. So bad, it was called Sodom on the Morra being the river that flows through it. But now sadly gone. But I drove out in the evening as the sunlight was going down. There were still buffalo grazing in the field by the creek. And there was the empty old town, cold and eyeless and roofless place. And then out of nowhere, this ghost town rode a beautiful woman on a quad bike who greeted me with the immortal words, "If I find you here, you must be lost." And there I was, and her grandfather-in-law, if that makes sense, her grandfather-in-law was the last man standing in this place, which had once been one of the wildest places in America. And he told me the story of how all the people who lived there are being cheated out of their land. So this is the story of a place down the Interstate 25. That's good. That makes a difference. Gold in the pirate town of Vegas, summoned all the good folks that follow like Omegas. Was weary of my new French wine, the days were going slow. The thought that I might come and run to the state of New Mexico. The shadow of a crow, the tumbleweeds alive, orchids sweeping low on the Interstate 25. It rises like the wolf to shine on the desert's edge. The moon it looks on all below to take the ancient pledge. The whiptail thinks and waits under a shade of a fiery stone. The roadrunner stops to catch his breath, cradle of Al Capone, and the shadow of a crow. The tumbleweeds alive, orchids sweeping low on the Interstate 25. don't mind you saying. The hotel's just an empty shell. Casinos will stop spinning. Sweet ladies all went home. The gambler took his winnings. Shadow of a crow, the tumbleweeds alive. Orchids sweep below on the Interstate 25. Doctor was a scumserary, sold our lives forever. He even burned the old church down through tombstones in the river. So I drove away from that lonely place. Brown eyes winked and waved. Wondered how and in what ways the sinners might be saved. Shadow of a crow, tumbleweeds alive. Orchids sweep below on the Interstate 25. The Interstate 25. Interstate 25. The Interstate 25. The Interstate 25. The Interstate 25. Thank you. Brave people, brave people. And your applause ripples round the world in a tidal wave of joy and happiness.
Yes. What a wonderful thought, Steve. So, imagine, if you will, a version of Steve Bonham here, perhaps belabouring over his
A version?
cocoa in a bedsit somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and perhaps hearing a song coming on an old Roberts radio, one of those vinyl covered ones with nice stitching. And it was a song by the Byrds, Mr. Tambourine Man, and he suddenly got to thinking, this is quite a short version. I seem to remember Mr. Zimmerman, Mr. Dylan, writing a song of that nature with about 27 verses. And he thought, I can do better than that. And so it came to pass that he wrote this song, which has got God knows how many verses. I lose track. This is called
The American Wilderness.
That's right.
Yeah, this song is written about a very sorry lady called Paula Angela, who was the first woman to be hung in New Mexico in a time where they didn't hang women. In fact, it was such a rare thing. The powers that be, mostly men, of course, decided to hang her twice. She was hung for murdering her lover from the Fort Union, which actually was near Loma Parada, the ghost town. And she'd been hanging out with Captain Miguel Martin, and he just forgot to mention he had 5 children. So when they decided to, they ought to run away together, he said, sorry, should have mentioned, can't do that. So whereupon she drew from her dress a handily placed dagger and stabbed him 8 times, for which she was then, not surprisingly, put on trial by Benedict. Benedict was a friend of Abraham Lincoln who promptly sentenced her to death. Said she could appeal, but set the date of the appeal for shortly after her hanging, which wasn't convenient, really. Anyway, it is a sad tale, and I shouldn't be light about it. But this is our version of it. It features some amazing instrumentation from my colleagues on either side of me. I just get the 27 verses to make my way through, but... Oh, that would have fooled you, Matt. Soldier brave, Michael Martin was his name. Soldier in a uniform, with the ladies he found fame. They say she was an angel fair, so warm and moon so low. Each night as the sun went down to the old creek they would go. He loved her true and he loved her well all through the summer's night, until they heard the bugle call and they began to light. One day she said, will you fly with me to a land both far away? He kissed her on her lovely hair, told her he would stay. songs are rambling on in American wilderness. Just Jesus songs are rambling on in American wilderness. You know it's true, I swear it's true. With you I'd love to roam, but I forget to mention my 5 kids left at home. Her eyes grew wild, her blood did race to a dagger from a dress. It seems that I must end the days of the one I love the best. She stabbed him once, she stabbed him twice, she stabbed him more than 8. He fell upon the weeping earth, she waited on her fate. The bugles called and his brothers came, and she kissed his life away. They dragged her to the courthouse to wait her judgment day. Jesus songs are rambling on in American wilderness. There's Jesus songs are rambling on in American wilderness. Now Benedict was a traveling judge with whiskey on his breath. He said, let's get this over with before I bore myself to death. He said, most like you can appeal, won't stay your danging day. Let's hear the next one on my list, I must be on my way. Now the jailer had a vicious mind, each one she'd heard him say, gonna hang you till you're dead, 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 till then it's here you stay. What it was that grew such hate, I guess we'll never know. What is true was on that day he drove the cart real slow. Just Jesus songs are rambling on in American wilderness. Just Jesus songs are rambling on in American wilderness. The Main Street down in Vegas, they gathered such a crowd. See an angel on a coffin whose lovely head was bowed, but not all there to stand or stare, for the beat of life goes on, and tragedy is as moments breath till the cartwheels carried on. Seen too many bad times to be the watching kind. Silence stayed to need the door, and wondered in his head at the killing of one so young. Her hands were free to grasp the noose that tightened round and drove the jailer under round it. The jailer turned the floor. The crowd grew still and said out loud, for God's sake, let her be. This ain't how it's done round here. She's hanged, so let her free. And so they cut the angel down, plunged on the ground. Some of them said the day was done, but one man turned around. And with his tongue he filled the crowd, and this is what he said. It wasn't just a hanging crime, but hanging till she's dead. And so it was the angel died, the crowd it moved along. The jailer took the story home, most felt he'd done her wrong. Such deeds and songs rambling on. Such deeds and songs rambling on. Such deeds and songs rambling.
American Wilderness.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, peeps.
All right. Imagine, if you will, that you're down across Lake Pontchartrain, down in the Big Easy in New Orleans. You're walking down, I think it's Charles Avenue. You take a right and you head into Bourbon Street. And as you head down there and you see all the different establishments to your left and right, you look across into one of the bars, into the dark recesses, and dimly lit at a piano in the corner, Professor Longhair is playing a melody. You look up into the night sky. The silver moon is casting its pale light down on the New Orleans balconies, illuminating the face of a silver girl.
Trusty from Seven Wells said, come on girl, let's give 'em hell. Waiting for the final bell. Sold their souls as far as I can tell. Just give me a taste of something fine. The world out there is catching fire. That old damn mule has lost a tire. The angels and the canes conspire. Leave me just to go for high. Just give me a taste of something fine. Simmer on. Silver moon, silver gold. 66 to Santa Fe. Bounce high, let's blow away. Love to love another day. Right on, baby, right on. I couldn't if I wanted to tear it up and start anew. Find another point of view. Steal my heart right back from you. Give me a taste of something fine. The bad girls and the vampires said the water boys who always won't get the piano man who plays to bet could not lose, he's so in debt. Just give me a taste of something fine. Silver moon, silver gold, take me to simmer on. Silver gold, 66 to Santa Fe. Bounce high, let's blow away. Live to love another day. Right on, baby, right on. Guitar. when he played the drum. I took a drink cause I'm feeling numb. Won't spare a dime for another bum. I'm laying low and keeping dumb. Just give me a taste of something fine. The lazy ridge at the edge of night, side by side in the faint light. Something crazy, something right. Shall I stop here? Well, I think I might. Just give me a taste of something fine. Silver moon, silver gold, to be the simmer on. Silver moon, silver gold, 266 to Santa Fe, miles high, let's blow away. Live to love another day. Right on, baby, right on. West Coast song went round my head, found its way to my big white bed. Was it something that I said? When the heart is hollow, it's easily led. Whoa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that one. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of our travels are very much centred around trips around the States. I've hiked through the Georgia and Tennessee and North Carolina. And old Kevin here, he got himself a nice big motor car and he travelled the Blues Trail. He went everywhere and he met them all. And he met them all before they died, which is lovely of him. And not that there's a causal connection there, by the way.
Pine Top did last an extra year after I met him, to be fair. So.
Made his way to the southern states of America, destroying these old blues legends. Absolutely extreme. Anyway, there we are. There's none left, but there's Kev, and he's shaking their hands. Yeah. Anyway, the great thing about that part of the world, if any of you have travelled down there, it's a wonderfully threatening place. It's a wonderfully threatening place. I drove once, I think, from Knoxville into towards where was I going? Oh, it doesn't really matter, does it? I was heading that way anyway, and then there was three billboards, and the first one said semi-automatic and automatic rifles, daily and weekend rates. Wow. The second one said cremations with confidence, which did linger with me, actually. What was there about cremations that you might lack confidence in? You know, half the job done and you get the legs back or something. I didn't really want to know. And then the third one said, it's my favourite, actually, Catholic sex shop, early exit. The level of the song is just about that wonderful feeling, you know. And I was I read a book recently, Where the Crawdaddies Sing, and that feel came to me. The song is called We're Waiting on a Storm. Remember me and Mary, first time we sing. Oh my Lord, those times were good. It was going nowhere, it was understood. All my life I've been waiting on a storm. All my life I've been waiting on a storm. I meet some alligator loving with my friend Lucille. As out of the window she and I did steal, creeping out the gate and down the road to the sleepy bayou where the muddy waters the cottonwood tree. To see in the dark like Rocky Raccoon. I'm a midnight creeper, a shadow across the moon. All my life I've been waiting on a storm. All my life I've been waiting on a storm. All my life I've been waiting on a storm. All my life I've been waiting on a storm.
Thank you.
Waiting on a storm. Waiting on a storm. Ballad. Yeah, this is a song in the middle of the southern states. Is the Appalachian Forest. This is 65,000 square miles of temperate rainforest. Really, I guess it's hot. It's very humid and it's full of hurricanes, and it's also full of rattlesnakes and brown bears and black bears. And in the heart of the Appalachian Forest once stood the mighty Cherokee Nation. And until it was moved on by Andrew Jackson, President and General Bad Guy, a few hundred years ago. And in the middle of the Cherokee Nation once was me. I was a long way from home. I'd been trekking with my pack on my back and my tent. And right in the middle of nowhere, I came across a tree had fallen on the ground, so we stopped for the night. And on the tree, someone had carved D loves BM. Who they were and where they came from, I'll never know. For days out from Blue Ridge, 6 more to go, where the Inverness ready. I've had written about it too, and the old black bear. What coyotes sang, we were strumming our guitars. Carved upon the white oak that had fallen to the floor. The embers there still lingered. Twain had written about his love, left no mark but only this. So we gathered yarn to spin, watched the moon arising through the branches high above, and the old black bear and the creaking pine, while coyotes sang, we were strumming our guitars. How do they come here and they were both forgotten as we hit the trail again. Down the road in Cherokee, I just chanced upon a guy who playing on the slot machines with whiskey on his breath. 'Cause the world's telling all who'd hear, she never said goodbye. Thank you. That was a ballad of Duane and Billy Marie. We never thought we'd play that live, but we managed it more or less.
Thank you. Yeah, astonishing. That one, sort of one of the, in the recording studio, that's one of the most complicated ones we've ever put down. And when we recorded it for the first time, well, when we recorded it 15 months ago, we didn't know how we were going to do it live, really.
Still don't, really.
We were just thinking about how to do it live when COVID hit and sort of put it on pause for a bit. But I'm thrilled that we finally managed to get that out into the world live. From our point of view, one of the most complicated songs to perhaps one of the simplest. This one just sort of, and I'm being glib here, it popped into existence, really. I mean, from what Steve tells me, it was a very quick one to write. And about 15 months ago, it was sort of a mini hit on the old internet radio stations and Spotify. It keeps on chipping away at Spotify.
It does. It just keeps going up.
We're thrilled.
Number one in several places.
In several territories.
Several small countries around the world, this has been number one.
So this next one is one that's written by Steve. It's one of my favourites because it's sort of, although it's terribly simple, it's perfectly formed, I think. It's glorious. So this next one, and they can't start until I start playing, so this one is called Wrapped Up in You.
Lay down my gun, the long day was done. I was looking to lighten my load. Stopped rolling dice, the third thing twice. I'd said goodbye to the road. Wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you. When you came into view, it was all I could do but to stand up and open the gate. Something I would find would do things to my mind. Gave up all resistance to my fate. Wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you. With sun on his skin, you smile at me and I put my hat on the back of your door. I was putting fire like a ladder on the wire. I couldn't help but come back for more. Wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you. You're a poet, you're a lover, you're an angel undercover. You're the best thing that happened to me. So I was catching fire like a ladder on the wire. You're the fruit from the magical tree. Wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you. You whisper in my ear, there is nothing there to fear. Just surrender to a night of bliss. We're rolling and tumbling into heaven. I'm stumbling and never had love like this. Wrapped up in you, 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 wrapped up in you. This time, wrapped up in you, wrapped up in you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, small but very lively audience people. Thank you.
You sound like way more than 4 people clapping. That's amazing. Good on you.
Amazing.
Good on you.
Thank you.
What the 5? You should be even louder,
sorry.
surely. Oh, hang on. Steve's making noises.
Yeah.
It's always Steve.
Anyway, yeah, this is the last one. And that's just right, isn't it?
You say that with a note of relief in your voice. It's the last one. Thankfully.
No, I'm very loath to leave this stage, having spent a year and a half trying to get on it. This song, please, if you're out there in global internety land, please look up the American Wilderness Odyssey, which all these songs came from, and it's a labour of love from the 3 of us. We spent 15 months, we recorded 15 tracks, all direct experiences of, hitting the road in the USA, and we fed all that in, and we didn't want to copy anyone, we wanted to make our own stuff up, and we're proud of what we've done. We've created a little book to go with it, because we kind of spotted in music now, with everything being Spotified and amplified and digitised. There's no backstory. You don't know where the songs come from when you listen to them. You don't know where they're going. You don't know if they've been good children or bad children. You don't know if they're little perverts. You know nothing about these songs at all. And so we wrote a book called The American Wilderness Odyssey Companion, which has got the story behind all the songs and all the trips, particularly that Kevin and I made, and a full musical analysis of the songs by the Bishop here. So this song we kind of wrote and finished off last, which is our kind of memory of the best of America, what it's all about, and it gets a bad rap and probably deserves it sometimes, but the spirit of the place and the rebelliousness and the freedom of it, we just love anyway. So this is roughly about those old American films that actually they're the only films I ever watch, much to my children's disgust. Called Western Requiem. So thank you all. Thank you very much, sound crew. And but stay around for the man I think is the best acoustic guitarist around at the moment, Blair Dunlop. And Western Requiem. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, big man. The last buffalo is gone, medicine man has come undone, the boss on the touches down, and the trail is westward bound. Geronimo has hit the show, John Wayne never made the Alamo. Ghost dancers dance in vain, fires go out in summer rain. Rosalie, oh Rosalie, would you dance with me all night long at the desert sedge beneath the Joshua tree? Rosalie, oh Rosalie, would you sing a song for me about the time that freedom calls? You'd walk along with me about the time that freedom calls. You'd walk man in black kneels down to pray. Bandit queen has run away, shooting out the old saloon. Mad dog's barking at the moon. Don't bleach out the coda crow. Where the ghosts to the Mustang roam. Farewell to the best of them. This is my Western requiem. Rosalie, oh Rosalie, would you dance with me all night long at the desert's edge beneath the Joshua tree? Rosalie, oh Rosalie, would you sing a song for me about the time that freedom calls? You'd walk along with me. About the time that freedom calls, you'd walk along with me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay around for Blair. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes, back to me now. Forget them. It's the announcer's time. Me. All right. Thanks very much, everybody. Now, we're going to get ready for Blair to come on and do a set, and we're really looking forward to that. But in the meantime, we're going to take about 20 minutes, and we're going to show you one of the Artisan shows, this time featuring a friend of the long road, Rob McHale. So enjoy that, and we'll be with you real soon. Stay tuned.
on during this sort of strange period of time?
Well, I've been writing a little bit. I have a new song that I've crafted about one of the steepest railroad grades. It was actually the steepest railroad grade in the United States, and it's just about 2 hours from here. It's called the Saluda grade. And putting together a new record that should go to manufacturing tomorrow, and I hope to have that very shortly. And that's called 40 Ford Coupe. So just getting the details with the artist Mike Emery painting the cover, and Lynn Ross are doing the layout, getting everything together.
And I know you're going to play that song for us later, but
yes,
tell us a bit more about it.
A lot of times when I write, I'm just practicing. I don't normally sit down with a theme to write a song. I don't say, well, I'm going to write a song about Tom Dooley. I just have a thought about Tom Dooley or a 40 Ford Coupe, and I go on with it. And that seems to work very well for me, because I must be feeling the spirit of that song in a way in order to come up with an attachment to it. But I was downstairs in my practice room down there, and over on the wall I have a print. It's probably 2 by 3 feet, and it has Junior Johnson in it, and Willie Clay Call, and the artist, and Millard Ashley, and they're doing a deal. It's called The Payoff, I believe, and the artist Mel Steele. But I was just practicing down there, and I don't know, for some reason I glanced over at that wall, and I came up with this. I've got a 40 Ford Coupe running all night, and I just knocked the song out fairly quickly. I just had to burn in the licks. It has some fairly aggressive bluegrass type licks in it. So yeah, that's a great example of how I might write one just by accident.
It's had a bit of a life its own soon. I know that a few distilleries are sort of thinking that's very interesting. You were going to get involved with some of the old moonshine drivers as well, weren't you, at one time?
Well, there's a festival up in Mount Airy where you have been. You and I have been together. There's a festival there last year. A gentleman by the name of Bill Blair put on the first annual Moonshine Racers Reunion Festival. And it was just a tremendous success. They closed off all the streets downtown, and they had retired NASCAR and retired moonshine runners, and a lot of vintage cars like the 40 Ford Coupe and Ford Fairlane and many others parked out there for people to see.
I think we should hear that song, so we'll just take a short break and tune in to you play that song.
That sounds great. I got a 40 Ford Coupe running all night, taking the back road straight outside. 99 gallons coming from a creekside stew. The law says the catch me, but I don't think they ever will. I got a flathead 4 on the floor, coming down the mountain bringing some more. 99 gallons coming from my daddy's stew. The law says the catch me, but I don't think they ever will. I don't think they ever will. could, running all night, taking the back road, staying alive. The law says they catch me, but I don't think they ever will. While I'm running fresh corn in these Woods County hills, the law says they'll catch me, but I don't think they ever will. I know that they never will.
So that song, well, the great thing about your songwriting, Rob, that I've always known and loved, it's, you know, it's a narrative. It's writing the stories of the people around you and the world around you, by and large. How did you come to start writing like that? What drove you into this particular? Who inspired you? What got you going on that way of writing songs?
I think I just stumbled into it. It just, one thing that I did, Steve, I kind of stopped listening to music, especially commercial music, for a period of time. And I did that intentionally just to try to refocus myself on my music and make sure I didn't have anything that was influencing me and that might cause me to perhaps develop a style that someone else already had. So I was purposely trying to identify my own style and find whatever it was and burn it in. So I just walk through life, and if I think there's something that I want to say that is important to the world, that something that they might get some value, maybe somebody will just be touched by one line in a song that they might be able to relate to, that might help them out or make them think about something, then it makes it tremendously worthwhile to be able to reach people that way.
How did you start? What sort of, where was the first steps you took to picking up the guitar? And
well, I was a little, felt like I was a little bit too diversified. Years ago, I was doing too many things. I played the electric guitar, and I played the electric bass, and played the acoustic guitar, and spreading across many genres. So I knew that I had to focus and take a path. And that's where the path that I'm on is the one that made the most sense. That's just me. And I chose that path, and I didn't know I had no idea where it would take me. I didn't particularly have any aspirations, but it's been a wonderful experience to go out and meet people all around the world, people like you, another great songwriter, and then all of the other places that it's taken me, and I know you as well. So
I think your last album, Prophets on the Boulevard, that's done really well, hasn't it? So what inspired that? What drove that? What made that, I believe, an award-winning album?
Well, the International Music and Entertainment Association, yes, they just awarded that in January as Folk Album of the Year. Really quite an honor and privilege. I'm very humbled that they would select that album for that.
Rob, I've got to ask you about Tom Dooley. You are the Professor Tom Dooley. You're the expert Tom Dooley, and you've written songs about his life and his legend. How did you get here? How did that happen?
Well, in part, I live right here in the heart of this Tom Dooley legend. He was hanged just about 10 to 15 minutes to the east of where I live. And the legend was born just about an hour north up in the foothills. There has been a renewed interest in it for some reason in the last 10 years or so. And one day I was reflecting on this Tom Dooley legend, and I didn't really have the knowledge then that I have now, but I had some. And I wanted to write a song from his perspective on the gallows, because he was wrongly convicted of the murder of Laura Foster. And that was one of his girlfriends, and he ended up paying the ultimate price for it. So I wanted to just bring that to people's attention. I had been telling this legend at the grave of Laura Foster at this Happy Valley Fiddlers Convention, which is an annual event, and I do it at sundown under candlelight. And so it's a kind of a great experience, and I go into the detail and play the 2 songs I wrote about the legend.
Those songs aren't the ones that we probably all sang as a child and got wrong.
Just like a lot of folklore, there's just a lot of different interpretations. But I've been very fortunate to meet a lot of the local people up there and some historians and descendants that have helped provide me with a lot of information. And then there's an author, Charlotte Corbin Barnes, who lives just south of Charlotte, that spent nearly 30 years researching this legend and went into just tremendous detail with her first book called The Tom Dooley Files. And, Jan Kronsel from Denmark just released a book I think it was in March, and it's called Who Killed Laura Foster? And it's just a tremendously interesting book. So either one of those 2 books would be a great resource if someone wanted to learn about the legend. And but if they want to hear the story, the real Tom Dooley story, I made this podcast back in January, and that's what it's called, The Real Tom Dooley Story, and it's the beginning of my channel called Real America History. So we'll have some more things to talk about.
We'll certainly put a link up for that, Rob. I mean, I love the attention to detail and the way you immerse yourself in the songs. Having spent an afternoon skulking around a moonshine distillery with you and visiting Tom Dooley's grave as the sun went down, which was a somewhat disconcerting experience. It's in the corner of a field somewhere in the middle of nowhere if anyone wants to go look for it. I really think we should, any chance you can go and play it for us?
It's possible. It's possible I can play that, and I just tried to be Tom Dooley when I wrote the song. I just tried to be him and offer the song from his perspective.
Set me free from these gallows, cut me down from the hangman's tree. Don't let me swing here till tomorrow. Don't let me hang for another man's life. Tom Dooley is my name, I stand before you. I swear to tell the truth, so help me now. I never killed a girl, I never put her down. Set me free, stay through town. Let me set me free from these gallows, cut me down from the hangman's tree. Don't let me swing here till tomorrow. Cut me down, bury me. Cut me down,
You're going to play us a song about Woody Guthrie, but where does he stand in your world and the music you make?
Well, Woody Guthrie, as you know, wrote a gazillion songs, and he was probably the founding father of folk music. He was a great inspiration to many of the social issues that people wrote about, Bob Dylan and Pete Seeger and so forth. And I was fortunate to play at the festival in Okemah, Oklahoma a few years ago. When I left, I wrote the bridge for this song because there was such a spirit of community there. And I think that was just something that lingers on from Woody Guthrie's spirit. So I wrote the bridge for that song right there as I was leaving. And then I woke up a few weeks later at 7:30 in the morning and wrote the rest of it.
I think we should hear it, Rob. Let's have a listen.
I'd love to play that for you.
I used to live in a little country town. Nothing going on, we just hang out. Never had a TV, just an old radio. I could listen all night long to Woody and Laughter. I wanna be like Woody Guthrie, ride the rails, sing a song, take the highway across the U.S. Make the world a better place. We used to come through, spend a couple days, sing some Woody song about places he had been. Living was never easy, knowing what he had to do. I'd walk 1,000 miles in Woody Guthrie's shoes. Here in Oklahoma, feel the spirit of the songs we left behind, the lost to carry on. I wanna be like Woody Guthrie, ride the rails, sing a song, take the highway across the U.S. Make the world make this world I would walk 1,000 miles in Woody Guthrie's shoes.
That's a fantastic song, Rob. I think it's one of your best. What age were you first aware of Woody Guthrie? Where you know, was it later on in life or early on? When did he appear in your consciousness?
Well, he appeared a couple of times. He appeared early on. And, things, when you're young, sometimes things are really moving fast. At least for me, they were just rocket, and I didn't really, I think, have an appreciation for him until I was a little bit older, and I started understanding more about what he was actually saying. And he got down in the trenches with people and traveled all over the West and Southwest as a hobo, basically, and lived in hobo camps and rode trains without a ticket, and lived in migrant camps, and really got into the life of the everyday person and understood it and related that to everyone. What a tremendous gift to be able to share that with people.
I think, listening just to you there, and that is the big gift of, American, or that sort of American music, is that capturing the stuff now as well as the past. And, I know you've done it. What would you call your music?
I think I would call it folk, because it does reach out and relate to just humanity and people and cultures, not just one, but cultures. And I think that's what folk music is. And, it has content and, some valuable meaning, as your music does as well. And, I think folk is where it probably should lie.
Rob, on that note, thank you very much. It's been absolutely wonderful to talk to you again. You take care of yourself, my friend.
Well, it's great seeing you, Steve, and all the best to you. I hope to see you soon in person, either here or over your way. So thank you so much for that. Welcome back to the Festival of the Artisan here in the thespian centrepiece of Ashby de la Zouch, the Venture Theatre, surviving on only sausages and vegan bundles. You've got a bit of a sausage connection, haven't you, Blair?
I might do.
Yes. Perhaps we'll move on. Anyway, Blair will be with us in just a moment. Now, don't forget, all the festival sessions will be on catch-up. You can look for it on festivaloftheartisan.co.uk, Facebook and YouTube, all the usual platforms. And you can support us by going to festivaloftheartisan.co.uk/box office and just pay what you feel. Buy us a coffee, or, if you can only stretch to one of those small caramel biscuits that they put on the side of the saucer, that's good too. And we want to thank all the sponsors and supporters, especially the Sausage Man. And it just remains for me to say a very warm welcome back to the Festival of the Artisan, in fact, for our good friend, Blair Dunlop.
Thank you. Very weird being on a stage. But nice.
I'm a lonely traveler, I'm a token of harm. A black cat crossed my path today, will I fall to his charms? Heard a cry and a silhouette appeared, told me a tale of woe. Must be unfounded fear, but what do I know? I love you in the meantime, love you as a pastime, love you when you're down on me. You love me for the first time, love me in the worst times, try and set me free. Don't wanna let me go, but they're one and the same, I think. What do I know? I've heard it said we couldn't part, that our love would grow. But as the pain pours out from your heart, I never stem the flow. I can hear it in your voice when you sing, you don't wanna be alone. So I tell you St. Peter's bells are gonna ring. What do I know? What do I know? I love you in the meantime, love you as a pastime, love you when you're down on me. You love me for the first time, love me in the worst times, try and set me free. I love you for a long time, love you when you're down time, love you when you're down on me. For some time, could be a lifetime, could be done already. Oh, you may have let me go, but they're one and the same, I think. They're one and the same, I think. We were one and the same, I think. What do I? Thank you. Ashpita Lazouche. It is very weird being up here. It's probably about a year to the day that I was on stage last up in Glasgow. It's been a good year, hasn't it? But no, it's good to be back at it. Thanks for having me back. Can I have a touch more vocals, please? So this is a song called Within My Citadel from my last record. And it's been a year since I played this one. It's not strictly true. I've had water poured upon me, I've been burnished by the sun, seeing the consequence of failing to know when to beat which drum. I've towed the line of knowing and not knowing what's begun, and I'm leaning with the wind wherever she blows. I took time to reacquaint myself with words that resonated. I took wine from every table when I left unsatiated. I wrote lines, for to keep me stimulated, for to keep my head above the undertow. When I'm longing for belonging, when you cast another spell, like some Abrahamic call up to the skies. When my weariness is playing, but the record's warped and scratched, are there remnants of a boyhood in disguise? I've had feelings thrust upon me, I've seen the bottom of the well. I've been learning to protect myself from within my citadel, but the walls began to crumble along with its personnel. I'd have scaled them, but I was trapped within the dark. When I am longing for belonging, when you cast another spell, like some Abrahamic call to the skies. When my weariness is plain, but the record's warped and scratched, are there remnants of a boyhood in disguise? Will my cup be overflowing, be it water, be it wine? As the arbiter of reason, I'd say either would be fine. Will my team win on the weekend? Will the stars finally align? Will any of it matter anyway? Oh, when I'm longing for belonging, when you cast another spell, like some Abrahamic call up to the skies. When my weariness is blowing and the wind takes me aback, are there remnants of some citadel of lies? Of lies, are there remnants to cry? Are there remnants of a boyhood in disguise? Cheers. Now we do have a small socially distanced audience here. Are you up for doing some singing? I'll put you in it now. It's very simple. You can even sing it through your masks. Mumble it through your masks. So, it's a very simple part, comes in at the end. And it goes like this. La da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. Come on, la da da da. Yeah. Good. And again. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Not bad. For mask wearers. Okay. This song's called Green Liquor. It's about the housing crisis. So no smiling under your masks, please. Lonely street light on the leafy side of town. His light shines every hour of the September night. Autumn calling with the princes homeward bound, leaving lonely street lights. Home from home in 15 different cities. That's 15 homes housing 15 maids. 15's but a number pretty. in the church of getting paid. Westminster stands with one foot in Persia, others been going the very same way. Nobody smiles in a shiny inertia. The people come, but they never stay. Street light still shines on Amber Ernest. Oh, for the ghost of a resident. Down the road, the social houses need service. They're looking to Parliament. No one's seen, no one's worthy of a higher living. You toil away, then you reap the fruits displayed. But this empty brick and mortar only keeps on giving credence to the others and disobey. You let out a cry, but nobody heard you. Nobody seems to see you today. Nobody smiles in a shiny inertia. The people come, but they never stay. The envy's green and the 5-pound pint gets sunk. The blood of the old East End just runs forever thicker as the medicine gets drunk. Right, it's your turn now. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Good, and again. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Very good, very good. So this one's a request from Steve. It's about a car, Porsche 356. Not my favourite Porsche actually, but I won't bore you with the details. Kind of at odds with the last song. The last song's about the housing crisis and homelessness in London, and this one's about, you know, £500,000 cars that you see in showrooms in London. You can't really have one without the other, really. Maybe you can. The sun beat down on Mayfair, on the golden heart of the town. You can tell it was touching the 30s by the glacial beads on his brow. The golden heart of the town, they said, all its splendor and charm, but only gold as finery, your wallet has a firearm. Rolling all the way up to Marble Arch. Roller drop-top Benzes, but none of them tugged at the heart. As soon as his nose pressed the window of a German dealership, the bulbous eyes of a 356 caught him and never let slip. She doesn't turn with much conviction, and her talker leaks in the rain, but she comes with a boot full of stories and an innocence hard to contain. The man at the door entertained him, though his shoes were falling apart. It had been slow from behind the desk, and he had facts to impart. Looked at the engine together, air-cooled and mounted in the rear. Flat four with dual carburetors and thirsty in any gear. Just 40,000 on the clock, he said. She'll go for quite a price. There's an oligarch around the corner who's been in to see it twice. A secret lies in her age, he said. Oh, doesn't she look sinless? You can park her outside the Dorchester and get all the interest. She doesn't turn with much conviction, and her talker leaks in the rain, but she comes with a boot full of stories and an innocence hard to contain. And if I had the money, I'd release her from her chains. I'd drive her through the streets of Mayfair, turn around and do it all. Soon came time for closing, hoping it wouldn't be for good. He bid adieu to the doorman, and the sky shone red as her hood. He looked up and started dreaming of a 356 of his own, as he mounted his bike and set off for the east side of town via Marylebone.
Thank you. So, passed the sign for Birmingham on the way down. How far are we from Birmingham? About half an hour? Okay. We haven't got any brummies in, have we? No, okay. Might be one or two watching. It's good. I wrote a song for Birmingham, okay? Even though I never sold any tickets in Birmingham. Song's called No-Go Zones. It's based on there's a story that Fox News ran. Went to town on Birmingham. I thought it was a bit harsh. Saying that it was uninhabitable because of the militant Islamic population. And, you know, Birmingham's not my favourite place in the world, but I think it's a bit harsh to say that it's uninhabitable. So.
play it loud enough, they might be able to hear me in Brum.
Thank God I found somebody, I'm out here all alone. It's my first time across the pond and I don't have an English phone. It's coming up for 9 o'clock, I'm chilled to the bone. Oh, now I'm scared that I'll set foot in one of your no-go zones. Now I'm scared that I'll set foot in one of your no-go zones. I've seen Southside Chicago, though I hail from Tennessee, but the man behind the news desk tells me Birmingham could be the worst of all, and you'll be first to fall when they hear your voice. Oh, any sign of Western tells them they don't have a choice. Any sign of Western tells them they don't have a choice. Don't know women, even sometimes girls. It says they'll keep me up to date as the action unfurls. So could you call a cab, please, if you can get it home? I'll never let myself get caught in one of your no-go zones. I'll never let myself get caught in one of your no-go zones. Of course I'll call a taxi, but first you have to see every script on his desk to revise for you and me. Oh, we can't hold the fox though, blatant as it be. I'm not saying every man should get his news from the BBC. Oh, but this city has its uses, I should take you on a tour. The Eastern food is nothing like the shite you had before. The Eastern food is nothing like the shite you had before.
Cheers. Thank you, Ashby de la Zouche and the wider world.
She flew in from the west on gilded wings, as seen on silver screens, with the baggage only great beauty brings, and I needed him by any means. First encounter, I was on my guard. The second saw me open up. By the third, my eyes are no longer starred. I was hooked, and I needed none before. She treads a path and then brings me along, straight
unless you're looking for more. I've been told she's in town for the night, but I just can't drag myself outside. Though a part of me hopes that, baby, I just might. I know my hands are tied. My hands are tied 'cause you're bound them together. The touch of a feather I'm unworthy of. You know they'll fall when your eyes are shining. Temper your smiling unless you're looking for love. Got time for a few more? It's been 7 years since I last saw you, and I wish it was 7 more. Knew you for 2, and by the end of the first, well, the writing was on the wall. I saw a change when you started giving time to the girl I gave my heart to. I never confessed it at the time, but to tell you the truth, I was sweet on you. Sweet on you, I was sweet on you. Lord knows I was sweet on you. I never confessed it at the time, but to tell you the truth, I was sweet on you. Now to take each person in isolation is to take the partial as full. Let loose together your breath, stormy weather, though you'd laugh to try and pull the wool. Why do you feed each other's darkness? Why do you drink to hide the blues? In the night I think you're trouble, in the day I'm sweet on you. Sweet on you, I was sweet on you. Lord knows I was sweet on you. In the night I think you're trouble, in the day I'm sweet on you. We'd stay out all night dancing to songs we didn't even know. We didn't like them either, didn't care in the neon glow. But I was dreaming on the morning, I was waiting on the sunrise. Because in each other's presence you become hard to recognize. Oh, in each other's presence you become hard to recognize. Oh, your mother always treated me kindly. She carried a sparkle in her eyes. Yours are the same, but I am now. They just tell of the stormy skies. And I wonder if she finds peace now. Where do you still put the color in her cheeks? Where do you moved on? How about you bidden? Whatever the weather be like in the peaks. We gather round the kitchen table, used to mighty low, but you never once sang with us. You just retired to your room. Oh, and if you don't like Raikuda, how could I ever be sweet on you? If you don't like Raikuda, how could I ever be sweet on you? Sweet on you, sweet on you. Lord knows how I was ever sweet on you. You didn't like the Cuban rhythm, you never liked words that told the truth. Shame on you, shame on you, with your chart house and your tabloid news. If I had a choice between you and your mother, I know which one I'd choose. Oh, if I had a choice between you and your mother, I know which one I'd choose. Des. So this next song's called Feng Shui, and I think people over Zoom, you know, the Zoom concert's been a thing, quite a prominent thing the last few months. If you're into your music, you probably attended a Zoom concert, and every time I've done this, people have said, oh, have you written that about COVID? I haven't written this about COVID. I wrote this before COVID, but it just seems fairly pertinent at the minute. The refrain goes, in these four walls, in these four walls. So, you know, it's a little bit like lockdown, but I wrote it in a different world, trust me. Feels good to be on stage though, a little bit weird, but nice. Take the heat pipe shake, but only when I'm home alone. If you didn't know better than me, if you didn't know better than me, you'd say they have a mind of their own. It's like they're holding all that tension in from the night before, and releasing it through the day. There isn't any more to say. It's hard to walk around this place and divorce ourselves from the time we spent in it. There are scars from hanging pictures and stolen fixtures that were never meant to fit. There's scars from when we threw things across the room and each of us got out the way. Oh, well, we'd only thrown them whenever the mist had descended, and we said all we had to say. In these four walls, in these four walls, in disarray. In these four walls, there isn't any more to say. wanna change things around, but I really think that we should. Maybe we should knock that parting wall through. It's been years since we first said we would. Mother saw that I was feeling down. She asked me if I tried feng shui. Oh, but she also asked me what I feel inside. I said there wasn't any more to say. In these four walls, from these four walls, oh, I'll run away. I'll run away. In these four walls, there isn't any more to say. Cheers, Ashby. So, we come to the end. Thank you so much for having me. Big love to the Festival of the Artisan. Thanks so much, everybody. Done a great job putting on a gig somehow in this madness. Yeah, it's great to be back, even though it's in a different venue and different setup. It's a great thing you do, so cheers for having me. Lovely to be back here. As in, on a stage. Very alien, but nice. I must say, I've got a new record out. I've got a live record from Australia. And I need to plug a certain charity gig that I'm doing later in the year. Hearts in Harmony. Go, check out the website. It's a brilliant cause. And I think I'm actually doing a set with my dad. It's just quite a rare thing. It's quite nice, you know. Been seeing a lot of him recently. Doing my head in, but no. No, it's fine. We get on very well. So yeah, cheers. I'll leave you with this song. It's called Spices from the East, and it's about colonialism and cooking, as all the best songs are. Yeah, stay safe and get out in the sun while you can. It's good for you. Even if it's just your garden. I say that as a very pale man at the minute, I know, but I'm getting ready for it. Gathered round the fire, weariness released, fruits of earth for hire, spices from the east, burn the midnight oil, troubles take flight, running up the chimney, off into the night, to sacred parlors, to tight binds, you fold in your spirit, I'll fold in mine. Love on the table, love on the vine, two souls unstable, souls intertwined. I guess I know not why it heals us so. I guess I know not why. I guess I know not what stirs the pain within our souls. But this time together keeps me high. Each flavor we elect to throw into the flames, they are each of our children, they bear each of our names. The pan is warming up, simmering the stew. It's one part me, the two parts you. So cut the capers up and drink the vapors in. It's a freedom to me, it's a purging sin. Share a plate together but then I'll be at peace. Fortune from the heather, spices from the east. Whatever you think of me, there's no sweetness in my smile, only sweetness in my truth. Whatever we're drinking should sustain us for a little while. I hope it helps us speak our truth. Arrived in the Middle Ages, money well spent, accepted as wages, peppercorn rent, a depth to the flavor, whatever would work, and Europe to Asia, colonial perks. The world today is different, smaller by the hour, still worth its weight in gold, still sweet and sour. Shouldn't take it for granted, but I do every day. Still sailing all the way down from the Bay of Bombay. Oh, King Charlemagne sowed the finest seeds in the West, filled his garden with sprigs of thyme. And the Crusaders, returning from their sullen quests, opened the roots to a sweeter wine. Well, here I stand, and I stand at your behest, with spices local or Byzantine. Oh, my maritime Silk Road, we are coalesced, whenever we dine. We are coalesced whenever we dine. A puzzle we're searching for every last piece, piecing it together with spices from the east, gather from the soil, live or fall she bears, laugh a little quick before we return there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Blair. I was hoping you were going to do that one. That's one of my favourites. All right, thank you to Blair Dunlop for closing the festival in fine fashion there. And in fact, thank you to every single artist that's been involved in this. Not just the ones that have appeared live here over the last 2 days, but also the people that have been involved in the Sing Together project, and the people who applied for the Artisan Club that we featured in the montage this afternoon. And thanks to all you people at home who've joined us here and watched and helped try and make this some kind of a step back towards normality, where we can connect with people again, the performers and the public, because we really need to do that. And a big thank you to all the crew here, the video, the technical people, and that. There's stuff going on here that's blowing my mind. I just don't know what's going on. It's like being on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. So basically beam me up. So you can still support us by going on to festivaloftheartisan.co.uk/box office and pay what you feel. And thank you to all those people that have done so already. We do really appreciate it. We do. Come on, big round of applause. Thank you, people. Thank you to the sponsors: Arts Council England, Sausage Man, Hobgoblin Music, Deventio Wines, Delilah's Fine Foods, Buffalo Brownies. And basically, that's it for the Festival of the Artisan 2021. Follow us on social media. Keep the last weekend of March next year free, because, you know, we just might do this again. Good night!